Hey, welcome back. We're super excited to have you again. We're continuing our series, So You Think You're a Christian. Today we continue part 2 of the series. And what was so important in order for us to understand what it really means to be a Christian?
Yeah, I think a lot of times we get set in our ways.
Yeah.
And we can sometimes forget the importance of changing your perspective a little bit. I used the analogy today about changing your seat, physically getting up, changing your seat, because sometimes just switching your perspective on something that you're looking at can change the way you view it. And so a lot of the things we said today was going to force individuals to think differently about the way they maybe thought of Christianity in the past. So yeah, just that ability just to see things from a different perspective and be open to that.
Okay, yeah. I know, obviously, I want to say this too. You use that card.
Yeah.
And that was really good. Lauren's arguing, it's pink. And we're like, it's purple, it's pink.
If you have no clue what we're talking about.
Should definitely go back and watch that. I apologize, but yes.
Social media craze right there.
Please go back and watch that. So what might be a reason for a person to need a different perspective?
Yeah, I think growing up, we connect with certain things we heard as a child, or the way a preacher of long ago might have said some things, and that can kind of get rooted in our mindset. Also, too, I think some of the two biggest things that I think people get hung up on is the way people explain Christianity, or the way in which they lived out Christianity. And I think those two things, when you think about those who have fallen away from the faith, or those who are no longer professed believers, I think if you look at those two reasons, that's probably the two top reasons you'd get.
Wow.
Either it wasn't explained to them right, and they've had jacked up views to begin with, or it was explained really well, and then you had people in their life that are really important that just completely blew it out of the water when it came to their example.
Wow, yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah,
I agree. That's awesome. I hadn't thought of it that way. So to wrap up, what's one perspective that puts everything that we've talked about into a proper context?
Yeah, it's relational. It's you've heard the cliche, it's not a religion, it's a relationship, and that really is true. You can look at the Old Testament laws and the way in which we interact with God in those situations, and you see it one way, but then in the New Testament you see Jesus come in to fulfill those laws and create this connection back to God that is relational. We looked at Galatians 2:20, and it talked about how he was indwelling in us, and that's very relational. John, the Gospel of John, is very relational. All of those things should, a relationship should change the way you live, work, and play. I mean, everything from the way you talk to people should go back to the relationship you have with Jesus, the way that you work, how hard of a worker are you, go back to Jesus, the way you treat your kids, your spouse, goes back to Jesus, all of that. And so when the relationship takes the priority, not religion, not rules, not perfection, then that's what leads, or tradition. Yeah. That's what is the most powerful force in our life. So,
I want to share something real quick. I think is interesting. When I was a lot younger, I say that as if I'm really old, but when I was much younger, I used to say I'm not a Christian. People would say, "What do you mean you're not a Christian?" I said, "I'm a Christ follower."
Same.
I love that. Taking that, saying, this is perspective we all have, but this perspective of a relationship with Christ.
And see, I think the reason for that you said, and I've done the same thing, is I think that people have associated Christianity with a lot of things that it's not. And that's exactly what we talked about today, is what it's not. And, when you say I'm a Christ follower, that is far more clearly articulates who you are as a person and what's driving you. So
that's awesome. Hey, I love it. You'd love it too. If you get a chance, go back and watch it. It's really impactful, and I think it really makes you think about, just honestly, life entirely. But especially your relationship with Christ, right? So if you get a chance, hey, right below, it should be either beside this or below this one, go out, look at it, watch the video. I think you'll really enjoy it.
Hey, let us know in the comments what you think. Is it pink or purple?
Yeah, is it pink or purple? That's right.
We'll get the craze going. We'll get the social trend going.
That's awesome. So if you couldn't be here this week, that's totally okay. Next week we hope to see you at 10:30 a.m. in the auditorium, actually right behind us. And if not, it's totally fine. You can view our content online and all over social media as well. Hey, thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.
See y'all. Have a good one.